our faith, remember?
Dry humping. Yes, dry humping, of course.
He is a walking venereal disease.
Cave cheese.
I wasn't a Boy Scout, but I had friends that were.
Yes.
Was a
The dick soak method.
Unpleasant.
That's not going inside.
at the bar. I see this svelte-looking woman.
You fucking guys. Bill, anything? Beautiful.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my God, it's so good to be back.
Hello. My God, I missed all of you.
Man, it is packed in here.
It is packed.
And I'm not talking about your butthole.
No, not this time. Not this time.
Never
But
packed
soon.
enough.
But soon.
Seriously, already we're off to a slow start with this childishness.
Very childishness. This is a highbrow show.
It is.
We're already talking about butt stuff. So
We have big news, though.
huge news. We left season 2 saying that there were big changes coming season 3. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I give to you our third co-host added to our show because he's
It's like a tumor you don't want removed.
he's just crazy as fuck, and we love him. Billy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
I love being, I'm the tumor.
He is the tumor.
I am the tumor.
A walking venereal disease. Billy was on our show last season.
Yes,
And
it was love at first
our
sound.
female viewership, listenership, tripled.
Oh yeah, we were getting.
We went from 1 to 3. It was insane.
women
completely
were
went on strike and just now.
women were mailing us their panties, bras, and underwear and saying, "Make sure
Right.
Billy gets this."
Yeah.
I mean,
And I
you
said, "I'm gonna
they
keep
planted HIV in it and
Yeah.
like STDs. Like, fuck him. He fucked my sister out there.
No, I just kept the panties and I've been sniffing them. I just want.
I'm sure
everyone
they
to
came
know.
from a real life
Asshole.
experience. I've been doing a lot of reading over the break,
Yeah,
and I'm not going to say what kind of materials I've been reading,
sure.
but I've come across some words I'm not quite sure about, and I want to ask you guys about it.
Are we getting right into vocab?
We are.
All
we're
right,
about to
Dan.
touch that.
Dan, go.
What is lactate?
Lactate.
I know it very well.
If I may.
I mean, you can touch base on it. For what I know, it's a specific whale species.
Oh,
in the
please, no,
ocean.
go ahead.
It's a okay. So
It's a whale
lactate,
species?
lactate from the Latin, the Latin Bible. There's a Bible that it's just for the Latins.
Okay.
Okay.
We all know this. We did a whole thing on religion.
No, exactly. It was
Yeah.
like in book 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Book of Crace. Book of Crace.
Okay.
Book of Craze.
Yeah, page 10.
This is the non-amended version.
Verse 10, and it says something, and it goes lactate, and it's like whale in the ocean. And I guess historians, when they looked that up,
Okay.
what they found, it was a myth. It was a myth, kind of like the Loch Ness monster. When they're
Right.
like, oh my God, there's the whale of lactate.
Oh, my.
And the reason why they call it lactate, the whale of, is because when it would come up for air, they squirt. They
Yeah.
squirt out of that hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Right?
I got it.
It comes out just pure white.
I see.
Pure white. Almost like semen, but
You are well versed in
Very well
mythic
versed.
history.
I thought just like I know what it is, and I thought that's exactly what he was gonna say.
Well,
Yeah.
So I just wanted to beat him to it.
I was literally going to say the exact same thing.
I think we had our first bleep there.
We do have our first bleep, but that's okay.
Anyways,
Oh, it is a first bleep.
yeah. Well, now you're
It's
part
okay.
of the show for
Yeah,
sure.
I like that.
That's good. Okay, so
It's good to know
I
that.
mean, was that close?
And thank you, Bill.
I think you were right on. But do you have a vocab for us today?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
What's
no,
your?
no, I do. I was on the way over here, and I was just like, "What the? Oh my God, what is that?" I heard somebody say it. I don't remember how they use, but Klondike.
Klondike.
Oh, I know what
like-
that is.
Dan, do you know what that is?
Can you help me out?
Well, it's kind of a derogatory term, but it's a Nordic lesbian. This is someone who lives north of the Arctic Circle.
Oh wow.
And who chooses to lay with other women, and she is a woman herself.
Now, does she choose to lay with other women, or is she just born that way?
Good
Careful,
question.
Careful, some of our viewers. You never know.
Good
man.
question.
Yeah, I know,
All I know
that's
is
true.
that they're sinners.
There's, in the eyes of God.
Yeah.
They
But
are
a
sinners.
Klondike is just a sort of Nord. You can find them in Scandinavia as well.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Sort of a bigger, huskier woman. You know,
Yeah.
She needs that
Perfect.
extra muscle and fat to keep warm. But,
Gotcha.
But she definitely scissors.
Yeah, they do everything.
That makes sense. That makes
And
sense.
we covered scissoring too.
We did. We did cover scissoring. So I had a word I was confused about. I was online.
Yeah.
I was looking up Bible verses
Okay.
while I was online. That's what I do a lot of the time. Is I go on to the Bible.
It's a hobby. Yeah.
Exactly, and
Skills,
I look up for
Bible versing.
Well, I have agendas in life, so I look up specific verses that fit my agenda.
I see.
And then I should ram them down people's throats.
Right.
You know what I
up.
mean? Or up their asses.
Right,
Exactly.
yeah.
But as I was scrolling through, I was on a priest's website, and I found this thing called a cream pie.
No.
I didn't know what a cream pie was. Can either of you guys help me?
Well, you kind of point us in
obvious.
the right direction. Yeah.
Is it not obvious?
It's
under the Church of God term?
not very obvious to me.
Okay, so you know that churches host like baking events, like pie events,
And Boy Scout meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
essentially, a
Familiar.
pie is just cream pie is just a pie filled with cream. I don't think it gets any dirtier than that.
That's it?
It's pretty normal.
That's it.
That's,
Pretty boring vocab.
that is the worst
I don't-
vocab ever.
You can buy it at your local grocery store.
Yeah.
Just cream pie.
You can get a moon pie. You get the banana cream.
Banana cream.
banana cream pie.
That's-
There's apricot cream pie. I don't know how that doesn't make sense.
I don't know either.
That's
I don't know either.
disgusting.
All
You
right.
can essentially make a cream out of
Out of
anything.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even a T-shirt.
Cream
Yeah.
of
Cream
some
it up.
young guy.
Yeah.
Cream of some young guy.
Palama.
I knew a guy in high school. That was his name. He was
Are you
Asian.
Are you 13? Are you legally 13
I
years
just
old?
turned 14. Okay.
Okay, can we get to the
Yeah,
meat
can
and
we
potatoes
skip
of
Let's
this
get to
episode?
the meat and the potatoes.
Skip all
Mostly the
this.
potatoes.
We have a very
have-
special guest here.
very
I'm just going to
special
take the
guest.
reins
You know what?
because
Go fuck yourself.
Okay.
I think Dan should because Rock's on a rough
Yeah,
start.
well, his mic is peaking and he sounds distorted, and it makes me upset.
My
The
God,
vocab
Dan's
was terrible.
He's like
Our
a
friend
fucking-
Al. Our friend Al is
Al is here. Al, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Is it?
He
though?
said we could
Is it
call
good to be here?
him Al. We could call him Al. Da, 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 da.
And you want to talk about me
Not
ruining
familiar.
the show
Not
already
familiar.
today?
Not familiar
Too
with
early for Paul Simon?
Al has
Of course,
lots
Al
of
knows.
experience with unions,
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about unions today.
lots of knowledge about unions, and a lot of facts. He's brought literally
Now, are we talking about?
a briefcase full of documents to shove in
More
your face.
prepared than everybody on the show.
Now, are we
Really.
talking about like gay civil union?
No, we're not talking about civil unions or gay marriage.
That's after unions.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
We're-
got confused.
We're talking about labor unions.
labor
Like
union,
working with your hands.
like being laborious.
Like, so the
Ooh.
kind of thing that you constantly snub here on
Yes,
the show.
on the show through season 1 and through season 2, I have run my mouth about unions.
and I
on
had to
a few
just
episodes.
shut up because I
Really?
got so angry.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently,
we'll get into that.
Differently now? Look at him differently now.
apparently, I'm gonna get my ass throttled today, from what I'm told in the green room
You
before
will.
we get
Not
started.
as bad as
You
last
will.
night, though.
Not as.
And by the way,
Yeah.
for the listeners, the green room is a dirty downstairs bathroom.
That is correct. That is correct. With craft services, which is actually just a couple pieces of craft cheese. So Al, when we have these types of episodes where we have what I would consider a professional in a field, I know we discussed before the show, but what would you say, generally speaking, are your qualifications? So our listeners that listen are like, they didn't just grab a homeless guy off the side of the road.
Well,
Generally.
I've been a union leader since 2004. I've been a member of a union my entire career. And
Okay.
I believe very strongly in what the union has done for my profession, for me, and for, frankly, all of society, yourself included, even if you don't believe in unions.
I'm not in any. I've never been in a union.
But yet, unions have still accomplished a lot of things that have benefited you personally.
So, if I may get this straight, unions have created things that I now currently completely take for granted.
Absolutely.
As long as I'm clear, that's all.
You got it.
So, your profession, we'll say, is education.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So,
Sexual educate. Just kidding.
So-
Edit that out.
okay, but so in terms of so just so I can ask, in terms of a union and education, my mind, because I'm a sick person.
We all know that.
Yeah, my mind goes to the fact of like teachers being accused of jerking a kid off or giving a blowy or spreading his butt cheeks in the middle of class. All things that have happened to me before. So
got a blowy in the middle of
the union
class?
protects these educators from a kid just being like, "Oh, this guy touched me," when it's not true. I guess is that a where it maybe came from?
That's
I don't
not
know.
all.
Well, I think that's where your stereotype is coming from.
Yes.
But if you look at what unions in general do, and I don't want to just talk about teachers' unions, I want to talk about all unions.
Okay, that's fine.
Is the right to due process.
Okay.
So I know that there was an absolutely terrible propaganda movie called Waiting for Superman some years back.
I loved it.
No, not Superman.
No, Waiting for
Waiting
Superman.
for
I watched
Superman.
the whole thing.
And that particular movie talked about how teachers in New York City in particular were getting paid to hang out all day long in a room, basically, and get paid to do nothing. Now,
Well, a cross-section of shitty teachers.
but therein lies the stereotype, is that
Okay.
all of those people had been accused of something, but yet there had been no evidence presented that they could defend themselves against. So really what the union does is protect employees' right to due process.
Okay.
Essentially habeas corpus.
Well, my question is, you bring up that documentary, which I'm really glad you did, because I'm being serious. I did watch it. So my question would be, you said the proof wise, right? So I watched that, and there were videos of these teachers that were tenured that were literally just telling the kids, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I'm going to just sit here and read this newspaper. That's a tenured teacher protected by a union, and these kids are going in as retarded as they're coming out.
Okay, first of all,
I'm gonna skip over the use of the R word there.
thank you.
And
I constantly am telling him to stop using that word.
We're gonna jump into the fact that if
Yes.
the administrators do their job,
Okay.
those teachers
Yeah.
could have been dismissed if there was evidence. And it's that whole concept that I believe is in our Constitution, innocent until proven guilty.
Unless you're black. That's, I believe, also in the Constitution.
Well, no, you just shoot them.
Yeah, if they're
I
black, you
thought we
just shoot 'em.
solved racism. Why does this even come
You're
up?
right.
You're
I'm
right.
sorry.
You're right, Billy.
Anyway, continue.
This is why we bring you on.
Over here? I gotta
So-
whip both of you guys.
If administrators do their job and they build a case, then you can be dismissed. And in fact, I have worked with many cases, I shouldn't say many, probably 2 or 3 over my career, where people have been let go because there was an abundance of evidence that they were guilty of what they were accused of. In none of those cases was it anything sexual. You get to the extreme cases when you bring that up. But what happens is that until that person is proven guilty, if you don't want them working, you pay them on a paid administrative leave, or in that movie, they put them in a place called the rubber room. What happened in New York City is the system was so overwhelmed that, frankly, they just put people in the rubber room and forgot about them for 40 years. So they continued to get paid their full salary till they retired without anything ever being brought against them. But if you bring charges, there's actually a time limit for that case to be heard.
It's like, so I listen to this, and it's fine, but it's
All I'm
like
thinking about is S&M.
the rubber room.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm thinking black leather, soft walls and shit.
He's at $120 over there.
I'm at about 20. I think it's a 6 shots of espresso.
So like, I
Fucking
think about
veins.
that, but I think about like, okay, so I'm in technology, and I like, you're talking about people being on administrative leave and they get their pay for this number of years and this and that. It's like my ass, I program something incorrectly and fuck up an entire client's system, I'm getting fired. There's no due process. There's no like, well, let's take a look. Well, he made a mistake. Let's give him another. I don't get. There's none of that. It's just.
Well, you've heard the ancient Chinese proverb: "Don't hate
Here we go.
But yet,
player, hate the game."
I'm going to ask you a question. Last time that happened to you,
Yeah.
did you collect unemployment?
No, I just found a new job because.
So at no point in your life have you collected unemployment?
Never. I've never collected unemployment one time. I've always just found a new job.
Okay, well, the reality is that most
I'm a
people
fighter.
can't find a job quite that quickly. And if any of the listeners out there have collected unemployment, thank a union, because
Yep.
unions are the reason that there is unemployment in this country, to protect people. And again, you don't get unemployment
safety
if
net.
you are terminated with cause. But if you're
Correct.
just let go because of underperformance,
Yeah.
you know, not being able to meet your client's needs, then you collect unemployment, or if you're laid off.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, that's what happens even with people in unions who are accused of wrongdoing. If there is evidence, they are terminated and they go on to that system.
Fair enough. I've never had to use it because I'm a fighter, I'm resilient. And I have a lot of good friends that help
You're
me
full
out
of shit.
Yeah.
You're so full of shit. Dude.
sometimes, once in a while. So moving on. Dan, do you have any questions for Al or any
Well,
way you want to?
when you watched this documentary,
Sure.
Rockness,
Yeah.
did you watch with commentary on as well?
No.
Okay, so then you didn't really watch it.
What is that?
Damn.
Nah, just kidding.
I don't. That's the dumbest thing. That's probably
Did
the
you
dumbest
watch it
thing
with
you've ever said.
subtitles on at least?
Yes, of course.
so
Yeah,
you
I
were
have a
able to
hearing
follow
problem.
along.
I'm trying to understand your point of view. I
Okay.
think for the most part you sound bitter
And ignorant,
Okay.
that
little gay.
your profession that you've chosen to go into doesn't have a union, or at least a strong union presence where
There is
you
no.
work.
There's no union. It's not a union job. It's not a job that gets
and
a
you
union.
work for a call center essentially.
In essence,
Yeah.
I
Well,
work.
it's a phone company,
I work in technology.
right?
I'm not just like, thank you for calling. Can I take your account number?
Thank
It's
you for
like I'm
calling
actually
AT&T.
like, yeah, right. Like yeah, like I actually like I fix shit. There's stuff that I do.
Right.
My recycling bin disappeared off my desktop. How do I find it?
Yeah.
That's what you fix, Rob.
Not all the time, but most of the time.
But it's almost as if you're blaming the union for not protecting you.
Yeah,
But
Why
it's
don't
like-
why isn't the union? Why don't these Teamsters come down with their trench coats and funny hats?
Well, I've always had the question of, and maybe Al can shed some light on this. There are certain professions,
Yep.
and I've had plenty of jobs in my life where there wasn't a union presence, and I believe we were legally not allowed to have them.
Thank you. That's a good question.
That's just like kind of what I heard through other people. But I
Me too,
always
though.
thought, like,
Me
how
too.
do you stop a union from forming?
Well, and actually, they can't legally in the United States stop people from forming a union.
Right.
They can, however, run very sophisticated union busting campaigns during a union vote. And you've seen this tactic employed both before the vote and then during the vote. And I can give a couple of examples. There are a lot of businesses, one of our favorite local businesses, Wegmans being one of them, that during training shows what I would call propaganda videos about the dangers of joining a union.
Really?
We're breaking this
And-
open. A critical mass.
Wow.
We're breaking this open.
And they show there are a lot of businesses that do that. Another business that a friend of mine is a manager for, which oversees call centers in the area, actually, when they had a union vote some years ago, so it was your exact line of business, I might add.
Oh, okay.
And they were running a union vote to decide whether or not they were going to join a union, and the business employed lawyers at the cost of millions of dollars to fight off that possibility of there becoming a union. And they're going to claim it saved them that much in the long run. I'm going to say, well, why didn't they just take that money they were paying those lawyers and spread it amongst the workers, and then maybe they wouldn't have wanted.
Because they're not
form-
communists,
Is
Al.
this Northern
union.
land? Is this Northern land? Are you talking about?
Yes, yes,
our
I
own
am.
show.
You're talking about Northern land.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Northern land.
And so they actually employed union busting tactics
Okay.
and successfully fought off a union vote. It wasn't even that close. I think it was like a 2-1 no vote in that case. But they convinced people that they would all be out of a job if they voted yes.
Well, wow.
So really to create a union, going back to Dan's question, is all you have to do is get the backing of a national labor union and hold a vote, a controlled vote, where every potential member gets a vote. And if you get 50% plus one to say yes, then you are now a union shop.
So
Yeah, well, there's a big national labor union that like a lot of people use, like even custodians and stuff like that. God, having a
Well, most labor unions fall somewhere under the AFL-CIO, if that's what you're thinking of.
yeah, it might be
It's a lot of letters.
subset of that one.
I
Now.
couldn't-
American Federation of Labor.
okay, so like to this point though, to this
No, CSEA.
Oh, that's Civil Service Employee Association.
Is that- okay,
that
it's different then.
represents public workers
Okay.
who are in civil service titles.
Got you.
yeah, I
got you.
mean we can't all walk around all day and put paper in boxes. I mean,
No, that's not my union. You dumbass.
Nor mine.
well, so Bilbo Baggins, you ever been? I mean, you're in like
Local 158 operator engineer union.
okay, so that answers my question before I even asked.
My title in the union
Yeah.
is like the most sexiest title ever.
What's your
Girls ask
title?
me what I do. I just can't wait. Operator engineer specialist. But really, I just run big machines.
Yeah.
I meet with a guy on the job on a site. You know, I'm with Al for everything he's saying. And you know, as far as you go,
God.
how could you be against unions? This protect the workers.
But then
Because
it-
he's
it was
jealous.
all stuff by
He's
Hoffa,
jealous.
Hoffa was pretty much the first.
Well, he was the first Teamster.
First Teamster.
The unions go way back before
way
that.
back before that, but would you say that Hoffa actually kind of made it explode or made a huge impact?
I think he
I
was
think he
infamous.
had a big impact because of the tactics he employed in
yeah.
order to get
mafia
things
tactics.
done.
He's used as an example for anti-union.
Yeah, you're going to
people
pay us
as,
more
like,
money. No, we're
How
not. Well, here's a
corrupt.
gun.
Yeah.
You're going to pay us
then
more
you're going
money.
to disappear in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
and,
just like he did.
I mean,
buried
the
in
truth
Giant
is,
Stadium.
when any organization is created and there's people running it, you have an opportunity for people to become corrupt and use their power to do bad things.
But to the point I'm really trying to make, and I'm glad you said that, Bill. Like, you know, I don't understand how you could be against this when you just said that.
This helps people. This helps families, really.
okay.
Because many guys that'll get paid $20 an hour in a specific union, it'll take 5 to 10 years for them to get paid $25.
Well,
The whole benefit is because full health benefits, everything for their
retirement,
family, for their
yes.
every aspect. every
Okay,
aspect.
so
very
allow me to
family
answer
beneficial.
that. What I'm trying to say
kids. You're not Satan.
is no, not well. Some
I mean,
days.
you got a kid.
What I'm trying to say is that why is it not then for everyone? Why is it just for this elitist group of folks that
Whoa.
have like
Elitist.
well, what I'm saying is why? What about everybody? Then it should be good. Then everybody.
It's the
should
workers
have
that have to.
And
form
I
together
agree with
and
you
wanna start to use it.
110%.
I work every day.
I think that everybody should have a union.
Hell yeah.
In fact, I'm going to give you a quick statistic here, and I
Please,
brought you a
please
nice
do.
picture if you'd like to see a picture,
Thank
because
you.
I know that helps
He needs
you.
construction paper with big crayons.
If you go back to the foundation of the first unions, and really they spiked during the New Deal under FDR. Union membership hit almost 50% at one point. Actually, sorry, I misspoke on that. Hit almost 35%. And that is the highest union density that we've had here in the United States. Is about 35% of workers were unionized. And at that time is the only time in American history where less than 30% of the income went to the top 10%.
Okay.
So as union density decreases, more income goes to the top 10%. Because what's happening is that your management, is keeping a larger share for themselves. And if you look during the Great Recession, the top 10% got almost all of the income gains in this country. Our union density is at the lowest it's been since before the New Deal. We're down in that, hovering in the 10%, 10 to 12% range.
So there's a correlation between what the top earners are making, how many of them there are, versus union representation?
More money goes to the top 10% of wage earners when there are less unions.
Okay.
When there are more unions, the money is shared and the middle class gets stronger.
But this is the thing.
Sure does.
This is my other point. Okay, and stay with me. The top 1%.
I've already
people,
gone.
The people that make all of that money, right? The top earners that are hoarding all the money.
Yeah.
You know, according to, you know, people that love Donald Trump and stuff like that, like how are they supposed to buy their 5th yacht? So if they don't have that
I know.
that extra income,
No,
unions are ruining it for these people.
I was thinking of doing like a Kickstarter for them.
But there was a guy, he wanted to buy a third island. He already has 2 islands, okay? But he can't have a third one now because of unions.
Yeah, I know.
So do we understand the real issue?
So
Okay.
I don't understand
you
So
why
because
you're
of that
against
poor
him then.
gentleman
Yeah.
who has more money than all 4 of us are ever going to see
Yes,
combined.
correct. There's 4.
He's
will make
exempting
it.
himself.
okay.
I will
All
make
right. Okay.
He's going to be one of the top 1% someday.
But I'm not
On
going to have
Critical
3
Mass.
islands. I'm going to share at least one.
Well, thank you. I can't wait. I can't wait to go.
You're going to go on the smallest one.
Dick Soak Island.
Yo, DS. DS1.
Yeah.
Longitude 34.69.
Anyway,
Sorry, Al. Al was talking.
that was
before we-
great.
Yeah, I lost that train of thought.
That's what happens here on Critical Mass.
Critical Mass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we could take a break.
Yeah,
come
we
back.
We could
and
probably take a break.
Organize ourselves.
Let our sponsors kind of sponsor
Let the
themselves.
sponsors wash all over you.
Let the sponsors. All right. So we're gonna be right back. You guys stick around. Let the sponsors give you a cream pie.
Just
Thanks
shut
a lot.
up and hit pause.
If you're looking for a refinishing, a sealing, and a protection for your cement services, especially your garage, check out Eagle Epoxy at eagleepoxy.us. They can also be found on Facebook at Eagle Epoxy, or their phone number for a free quote, 585-402-4971. Tell them the RocnessMonster sent you for a free quote. Check them out.
All right, everybody. Welcome back from that nice right in the yup. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
Love it.
Right, Al?
I don't appreciate
Absolutely.
the euphemism.
And just want to say, if all of you enjoyed that break we just took, you should thank a union, because the idea of taking a break during your workday was
Damn.
because of unions.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you see what he did there? Do you see what he did there?
Now, do you see what he did there? How do you feel now? Hate the unions. I'm not about the unions.
I mean, like,
Where are you at now?
Let's hear some
Where you at
actual
now?
things that unions have done for all of America.
Bet you Al's got a list.
Yeah,
He
because
does.
I know a few of them, and I'll just to make myself feel better and my ego feel better, I'll just say them out loud. A 5-day work week,
Yep. Check.
like you just said, taking breaks,
Yep. Check.
health benefits.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say cool non-hooded sweatshirts that have the union on them that say the.
They've given America those.
I would say stickers in that case.
Oh, okay,
Stickers
stickers.
for hard hats and stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, bumper stickers.
But that's kind of all I can think of.
How about paid vacation? Anyone
Yes.
have paid time off here?
I do.
Yes.
If you have paid time off, the idea that you could earn paid time off, whether it's something you have to earn and bank up or something, you're granted 1 day a month, that's all thanks to a union, whether it's the vacation sick time. How about you guys like a 40-hour work week with overtime if you work over 40 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, I do get overtime.
You get some overtime?
I get time and a half.
And it's pretty nice when you get asked to do overtime and you want to do it, because you get that time and a half and that extra pay. Whereas before unions and without unions, no, you will work as long as we tell you to, whenever we tell you to, and we'll pay you what we think is right.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
really the origin of unions. And let's remember that back in the early 1900s, there were people who died in order to form unions and protect workers. And a lot of it wasn't even out of pay. It was about workers' rights, that ability to be with your family, that ability to work in a safe place.
Yep.
You guys know about the Triangle Shirtwaist fire disaster?
No.
The what now?
Is that made up?
It's a
Yeah, what
place.
is that?
It was a whole bunch of women. They were seamstresses, and
We're women.
and they were working in a sweatshop for all intents and purposes, and they were working long hours for low pay, but they were making clothing. And what happened is that they were very concerned that these women were going to steal from the company. So they did what any employer would do in that situation. They chained all the doors shut, except for the one that they were watching. And then there was a fire, and a whole lot of people died because all the fire exits were chained closed.
Damn.
And that led to strikes in the street and the formation of a union. And actually, under other things, all workers can thank unions for OSHA. Any workplace safety
I was gonna bring that up.
laws and health and safety regulations that you have at work that keep you from being in an unsafe setting are because of unions.
Well, I've been asking for one of those wrist gel pads for my keyboard at work.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not working in a safe place without that. And I've asked multiple times. I've said I need the gel.
Maybe if you guys had a union.
Maybe if we had
First of all,
And-
honestly, if you can prove that the gel wrist pad can alleviate pain and reduce your risk of carpal tunnel, and you've documented that you've asked for it over and over again, if someday you do develop carpal tunnel, then you have a case. You don't even need a union. You
know
have a
what?
case right away for them to not only
look at
pay,
my hands.
pay for your surgery,
Look at my hands.
but yeah,
Which
Listen,
another
but until that,
another
you're
thing
just
you
being
can
a
thank
prima
a
donna.
union for is workman's comp.
yes, workers' comp.
Workman's comp would not exist if it weren't for unions. And going back to your gel wrist, whatever it is that you want.
Yes.
Just crying.
Even if you were in a union or not, thanks to the Americans with Disability Act, if you have a disability and you have a doctor document that disability, they have to make reasonable accommodations for you. And
Yeah.
Thus
that's
them not
something else
hiring
you
you.
can thank a union. If your doctor does not feel that the gel wrist thing is necessary, I'm sorry, you're not going to get it. But if you can get that doctor's documentation by law, they need to be providing that for you.
I need to go see my doctor then.
Yeah,
What about the DOT, the daily overtime? Because that's what I get.
I get that as well.
Daily overtime is great.
I do not need to accrue 40 hours before I get
Right.
overtime.
It's 8
pay.
hours that day.
Anything over 8 hours per day, I
But
automatically
did you know
get
that
overtime.
the weekly? I don't know if the weekly overtime can be stacked with the daily overtime because what I have, I just have daily overtime. So if I hit 40 hours, even of regular hours, including DOT, I still get regular hours until I surpass 8 hours that day.
Oh no, it's both for me.
It's both.
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of triples. Like I joined this company I'm working for about 5 years before I moved down to Texas. And there was 1 week. Now I was getting $54.60 an hour regular time.
Jesus
Holy shit.
Christ.
And then-
$54.60.
Yeah, and they had 7 machines when they started, and they're just like, this kid's a workhorse.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, I know you already worked a double. Do you? Yes. I didn't even. You want me to go to the job tonight? It's overnight, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I'll go. They're like, how can you? I'll go. You know.
Yeah.
I had things to keep me awake. You know? I was dating somebody with a lot
Jolt.
of ADD. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Jolt Cola.
Sure. Oh,
Not
no.
a jolt.
Not a jolt. Not cocaine. If we're getting, I had ADD. That
Yeah.
thing just
I thought
gets
it was
you
just
wired.
Mountain Dew.
I had 3 triples in a row with like a half a shift as a
Yeah.
break. It's funny because like after like 40 hours of working straight, they're just like, all right, listen, Billy, why don't you go home? You can have the next shift, go home, just take a shower, maybe take a nap.
Please take a shower.
No, there was like an hour and a half in between.
Yeah.
There's no fucking napping. Once I lay down, I'm dead.
Oh, that's
yeah,
it.
you're
I'm
done.
done.
Yeah, exactly.
But that week I had 112 hours in 6 days.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
43.50 take home.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck. I get weekly overtime.
I was a little
that's
loopy
all.
though. So I started
Which-
seeing shadow people.
What Rock, what they're talking about with daily overtime, that
Yeah.
would be part of a union contract. That's not something guaranteed to all workers under the law.
Okay.
What is guaranteed under the law is that if you are an hourly employee who works more than 40 hours,
Yep.
then you are entitled to overtime for that. And they can define the week, so they can define it as starting and ending on Saturday or starting and ending on, Monday. But whatever their week is, if you work more than 40 hours, you get time and a half. That is the law.
Well, we're Monday through Friday.
And then Sundays are double time.
And we don't.
Also, thanks to your individual union contract, that wouldn't apply if Rock was called in on a Sunday. He would get.
He's really
time
the only
and a
guy
half
that
if
needs to be
he's
listening to
over
this, the whole
40.
against unions guy.
Yeah, well,
where do you stand now?
I mean, I got a lot of great things, and that's nice due to the unions.
So you're still.
So no, I'm just saying. What do I? So okay, so I'm not saying if anyone's listening from my employer. Nobody. Yeah, it's CriticalMass. Nobody's listening.
We've already made our billions of dollars.
Exactly, made our billions on the Rob episode, and that's all.
That's what it was.
So
we're recording live from a boat,
exactly.
a yacht.
We're bored.
It's not a boat; it's a yacht.
So if I were to say, "Hey, I want to start a union," or I want a union to come to my what would I do? How would I get involved?
Well, it starts off with you talking to other workers, and I'm going to say this very carefully because if you talk to other workers during any time that you're getting paid to be there, you can be fired for it. So
right.
if
you're on company time.
I'm going to strike that from the list of things to do.
Yeah.
If you make contacts,
yes,
and you have those conversations with people and you get the word out there, eventually you'll have enough rumbling that you get the backing of a national group that will then come in and they will run a vote for you in a campaign where they're trying to get your entire workplace, typically with the exclusion of management positions, to be part of a union. And they have to get 50% or that vote, as we talked about a little bit earlier, will fail.
Okay.
So
I'm pretty sure all you have to do is stand on your desk with a cardboard sign that says union and just slowly turn so people can see you.
But making sure that it's not during my shift.
Well, what was that movie? What am I referencing? Al, you know what I'm talking about? With fucking what's her name?
no, I don't.
Fuck if I know.
It's a really well known.
The one actress with the hair.
Yeah, the one that has the
She
eyebrows.
talks.
The mom from Mrs. Doubtfire. Okay,
Sally Field.
Okay.
Sally Field.
Damn.
She was in that movie in the 70s or 80s, and it was about unions, and they were treating her like shit.
When people still
she was
masturbated to Sally Field.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
People don't anymore.
It was a pretty big scene. She wrote down on a piece of cardboard. It was in a factory that she was working with other women, and she stood up and just held the sign that said union slowly as everybody could see her because they were trying to fire her for some stupid shit.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what I was referencing.
That makes me think about the Michael. Keaton
Yeah,
movie.
I'm not sure about that one, but apparently it's called Norma Ray.
Yeah.
Yes.
Norma
Came out in
Ray.
1979.
Thank you.
There it is.
Thank you.
There it is. Gotta love the Zhuzhels.
She was apparently still bangable. I think she's still very attractive
Thank you. I agree.
for a very mature woman.
See,
Well,
See how I
I-
did there? Not an old lady.
And you
Mature
speak from
woman.
experience, sir.
So
Which one?
Which experience?
if you truly want to start a union, I have a recommendation, which
Yes.
is
Yes.
really how the teachers union in New York City got founded. Whiskey sours.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What-
Put alcohol in people, and they will listen.
And that was exactly it, is that they tried to start a union, or were trying to start a union. It's actually now the single biggest and strongest teachers union in the nation.
Okay.
Wow.
And the founder, a gentleman by the name, oddly enough, of Al Shanker.
Oh, wow.
He
You guys share a name.
we do. And he would invite people after school over to his apartment in Manhattan for
I thought that was about to
whiskey
take a turn.
sours.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah.
a weird beginning of a sentence, but go ahead.
And
Yeah.
Invite people over to his house after school. It
other
conjures other
teachers,
thoughts.
other teachers. And he would serve them whiskey sours and talk about the union. And then eventually his parties became so infamous that he instituted a policy that if you were a member of the union,
Yeah.
you could come to his parties. But if you were not a member of the union, you had to pay a door charge equivalent to a year's worth of union dues just to come in and have.
So it would behoove the person to
So,
simply join the union.
You
So
may
he
as well
was
just join
holding
the
them
union,
hostage.
and
Yes.
so no, he was charging for his
Yeah, it's
whiskey
like a
as
club.
much as it was, I think, probably cheap whiskey, but
Exclusionary practices.
Yeah, this is for the people who
Absolutely.
are a part of the family, and if you want to be here, you can still be here, but you're gonna have to contribute.
Yeah.
I
And we're
That's
going to keep an
fine.
eye on you.
That's fine.
Did you just fart?
I did. I'm doing it again. Okay. I mean, whiskey sours. Who doesn't like those? I like whiskey sours.
That was the last thing that my grandmother touched on her lips before she died.
Wow, way to bring it down.
This
there, Felix.
really took a dark turn.
I mean, right when Elle goes, whiskey sours, I was just like, Grandma,
He's tearing up.
So, so
100%. Oh,
I just want to take a quick left turn, and then I want to come back. I want to correct the turn. Back.
Okay.
This talk about unions, I'm like, I'm learning about it today. I don't exactly hate unions. I've never been part of one.
Here's the backpedaling.
I get mad.
I like it though.
I get mad when I can't be part of things.
I know, you feel left out.
Like roller coasters that I
all
can't
makes sense.
ride
It all
because of my
makes sense
height.
Right, in middle school.
So you just turned to hate.
Your entire
can't-
middle school career.
I can't
fill
be
my
a part of
heart
it,
with
so
hate.
everybody that does that's criminal.
I've never had anal sex before because my cock is too big.
I don't
Bullshit.
believe it.
Yeah, but you've received.
I don't believe it.
Anal
plenty.
sex. Oh God, yeah. So from two guys in this room, I'll
From
let
yourself.
you guys put that together.
From yourself.
From myself. Yeah. Well, I bend it up
Right.
and just sit on it. So there's that.
Again, are you legally 13 years old? Because you look it.
I have a full beard.
Yeah.
You're a cunt. You're a fucking cunt.
He's got a jolly green giant dick.
So we've
Doesn't matter
got
how young he looks.
with the political landscape of today. Okay, I'm gonna ask Ale a twofold question, which should be pretty easy. Number one, where does the current administration in the White House, including one man-child Donald Trump, stand on unions? And two, are you a Trump supporter?
We're not about to turn this whole thing into a debate again, are we?
No, we're not. I want to know, what is our current administration?
that part I will gladly answer.
Please.
Well, let me start with the second part of your question. Absolutely not.
Thank you.
The first part of your question is far more in depth.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Donald Trump, as a businessman, is very anti-union. He actually spent a lot of money
I love
fighting
unions now.
off unions in his casinos in Atlantic City. I believe at one point, in order to prevent them from unionizing after a union vote, he just decided to shut an entire hotel and leave a building vacant on Atlantic City Beach. And so I think we know where he personally stands. But as far as the political climate that you get to, there has been a proliferation lately of what are called right-to-work laws. And I'm going to say so-called right-to-work laws because those of us in unions tend to call them right-to-work-for-less laws.
Okay.
And those states that implement those tend to have lower wages, and not just lower wages, but lower prosperity overall. And so the one thing that they can boast in the right-to-work states is that they do tend to have lower unemployment. More people tend to be employed in those states.
That's right.
But they make less than a living wage. And when you talk about the overall health of the economy in terms of the general measure that is gross domestic product per capita, or GDP.
GDP.
And what that is,
You know me.
how much money or wealth there is in a particular state's economy. And if you look at the states that have the highest GDPs, almost
shuffling papers
all of
right now.
them. I am, because I was looking for the
Changing
list
briefcases.
for you of states, because I thought you might be curious to know where New York falls
No,
on that
it's
list.
actually refreshing for Critical Mass to have actual facts on the show.
A list of right to work states?
Normally we just make these up.
There are
Yeah.
actually, it's almost half of the states are now right to work.
the hell?
And
I know Texas is one of them. What I told you guys before, that the position up here that I had a few years ago, 54.60 an hour. The same one in Texas,
Yeah.
$13.50
What? Garbage.
Jesus.
for real.
In a worker-friendly, which is a non-right-to-work state, a worker-friendly state, the average hourly wage in 2014 was just shy of $24 an hour. Whereas the average hourly wage that same year in a right-to-work state was about $20 an hour. So you're talking a pretty significant, it's about a 15% difference.
That's quite a disparity.
In pay. And
Per hour.
when you talk about
per
the
hour.
states that have the healthiest overall economies, out of the top 10, 8 out of the top 10 are worker-friendly states. Any guesses what the number one state in the nation is in terms of overall health of the economy? This surprised me.
Overall health of the
York.
economy?
Meaning GDP in terms of GDP.
California.
No.
Delaware.
Colorado.
Are you looking over my shoulder? It is, in fact, Delaware.
Could have given that to me.
Well, I did hear that California is like
cunt.
the fourth
like that
largest
word.
economy in the world or something.
California has a very large economy, but their gross domestic product is actually just behind New York.
Like that. Oh wow.
Makes sense.
They're eighth in the nation.
So we're 7th.
Yes, we are.
Wow.
I figure behind 8. I figured I need a daily
Top 10. We'll do. It'll do.
flip it, splits.
Woo. Damn. So Delaware. I mean,
What does Delaware make?
What's in Delaware?
Well,
Yeah. What is Delaware?
What do they
north-
do
it's
there? Do they make
northeast,
I
license
think so.
plates?
It's
Like
up
what do they
there.
do?
it's like up there. It's
One of
colder than
those
us. isn't
small,
it?
insignificant states.
But like Maine.
Yeah,
I mean,
just-
Maine's got lobster.
No, Delaware sits on top of
Maine has
Maryland
lobster.
and-
But it's right there.
Maine has lobster. Massachusetts
Just
has
below New
Boston.
Boston.
Has Boston.
Delaware is fucking
What the fuck does Delaware
Somebody
have?
Google Delaware.
Yeah, somebody.
Let me touch on that.
What is
It's the
Delaware
first state
have?
in the union.
Fuck Delaware.
That's what it. Yeah, but nobody knows that.
If you're listening and you're from Delaware, fuck you.
I'm not going to say that.
I'm gonna say
No.
it.
my
That's a
guess
dick-
is
that's a dick
that
move.
That's why I'm here.
And actually, I'm
I'm the Rockness
I'm
Monster.
pretty sure that
fucking
their
monster.
biggest industries are banking and insurance.
Boring.
To be honest with you, but
Banking
of course,
and
Connecticut
mortgage.
being the biggest insurer. In
So they're just
the-
thieves, criminals.
That
Connect
makes
icons.
sense. That makes
No,
sense.
you're
Connecticut
confusing
being
it
the
with
biggest.
Rhode Island.
Okay.
Wait, so I'm not even gonna bother.
First state. That's capital Dover. God, so
Dover, Delaware. Bend Dover, Delaware.
I want to go to Dover.
I'm gonna freaking.
I've never got an STD in Delaware.
You know what? You haven't lived then.
Yeah, you
guess
gotta go to
so.
Delaware and get an STD.
guess so.
That's what I've done. Well,
So yeah, we've talked a lot about unions, and I think that Rockness has maybe opened his heart a little bit.
I've a little bit. What's left of it?
Yeah.
You know, I've opened a little bit of it. I didn't. I guess I think for me, the thing I didn't know, which I'm very happy was my eyes were open to, was the fact that there are things that I currently have that I do take for granted that were created by unionizing. For other people unionizing, which is nice, things that have become law that my company now has to follow. You know, overtime is nice.
But let me ask you a real question.
Yes, it is shaved.
I believe you've told me that at your place of employment in the break room, thank you, unions,
Yeah.
there's food and soda and water.
Not all the time.
We get every single day. We have completely free soda, water, juice. The refrigerator is filled with food that everyone can eat. I mean, unless it's marked by someone else, you know,
Right.
if it's someone's lunch. But we have yogurt. We have cereal.
What kind of cereal?
Just like the Wegmans off-brand, like
Well,
the
what off-brands?
like
What
the
are they mimicking?
Like
Which
the bran
off-brands are they-
flakes, corn flakes, frosted flakes.
Okay.
Honey Nut
well,
Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerio. We
Honey
definitely
Nut
have Cheerios.
Bees.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Honey
right,
Nut
exactly.
Bees.
These
Looks
are all
like-
sponsors of Critical Mass, by the
Okay,
way.
so basically,
Fresh fruit,
I mean-
donuts, bagels, free coffee,
do you feel
TV, cable.
other than that, do you feel like when you're at work that you're not being treated well?
it's it's not a okay. So
And I'm not talking about promotions or anything. I just mean
no. I've been snubbed
the
there
day-to-day.
far too many times. No. The day-to-day, we're treated okay. We're treated quite fine as employees.
Yeah.
What the issue is that it's hard to explain in my field because it's a technology field. So there's not like I work in a factory, right? Imagine if you work in a factory. Just to give you kind of like an example, imagine you work in a factory and you make I don't know, what's something heavy and annoying?
A widget.
A widget. No.
Well, I worked in a distribution center.
You work in a factory. You make hubcaps.
Sure.
You make hubcaps, right?
Yeah.
They're not all heavy.
Well, okay, so you make heavy hubcaps. You make really just heavy.
They would never manufacture those. They would just go.
You make semi-trailer
14-inch double-ended black
wheels.
14-inch double-ended black dildos. We make those. They're very heavy ones. Okay?
Right.
Those are heavy.
Now we need to close. Making 100,000 of these a day. Okay.
Jesus, that's a lot of
However, we only have 10 people on the entire line. And the company says you're not hitting the number. You got to keep doing it every day.
Yeah.
And each of those 10 people staffed are like, I am literally bleeding right now, doing everything I need to do to make these.
Yeah.
Like, well, you need to work harder. And we look at them and say, no, you need to fucking hire more people. Is what you need to do because we're never going to realistically hit this number.
Right.
And then when we go into that break room to go and enjoy those things that are in there, it's immediately someone going, excuse me, what how long you been in here? And I'm pointing at a watch. That's the motion I'm doing. Like, how long you been in here? And I'm like, I have a 15-minute break. I've been in here for literally 6 minutes. Okay, well, 15 minutes is 15 minutes. Like, I know what it is, because they want us to push out that work.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand what the issue is?
Yeah. Okay.
So then I go back to my desk and I have more work than I can possibly do in a day. And then they say, well, there's overtime, and I'm like, well, I have a family. I have a home. I have a child. I have like stuff outside of work that I need to be doing. So once you start respecting my time, I'll start respecting your time. But the fact of the matter is very simple. I get 8 hours a day, and there's no way I can do the amount of work that's needed in those 8 hours. And when we say hire more people, their response is,
work overtime.
The only issue I heard there was they're not giving you your break time. Now,
Well, they
now
are.
as far as
they're just bitching about it.
And they're say they don't give it to you. That's my only issue with what you said. But
Okay.
if they're not meeting quota and they're bitching and bitching and bitching, honestly, me as an employer, here's your pay this Friday. Gonna find new help. You're just not meant to work here. That's
Well,
it. I'll
but-
find somebody else all
But
day.
that's the thing. All of us, the entire staff, feels the same way. And if you look at the numbers,
Gone.
You look at the data.
Done.
But so you just fire a bunch of people, even though
Wipe it out.
the goal is unrealistic.
Now that's if I'm giving you your 15 minutes, breaks, which is absolutely.
But the goal is not possible to be met with the amount of people.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so I do have to say on what you're commenting on, welcome to America these days, because everybody is expected to do more than is really humanly possible for one person to do.
At everybody's job.
And
I can only
think
stretch so
that
Hell yeah.
to Bill's point, the protection of the union isn't going to hire more help. It's just going to keep you from getting fired for
Not meeting those quotas.
being able to meet an unrealistic quota.
Right.
However, if you're the low performer and there's something negotiated into the contract that allows, the low performers to be typically put on an improvement plan and then terminated, well, then that's going to happen regardless if you're underperforming. But you doing your best and being able to perform at a standard level, you're going to be somewhat protected.
Well, see, but the issue that comes in then, right, is that you lose your inspiration as an employee. So, for instance,
Your drive.
For instance, yeah, exactly. So, for instance, if you took what we call like a stack ranking, right, of output daily, and we get ranked on this shit, right? I used to be up here at the top. I used to be within the top 3. I would
Rockness is stretching his hand out towards the ceiling.
I would cycle within the top 3, right? Then I realized that the people that were in the middle,
His hand is lowering towards the middle of the room.
in the middle area, right? Those people got treated just the same as the people on top. In fact, the people on top didn't really get anything extra, there was nothing there. And the middle performers got the same, but the thing is, the top performers still didn't meet the quota.
No
They
BJs,
were
no
still
hand jobs.
Nothing.
So what was the difference?
Exactly. So what I did is I just was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm just going to start doing the middle performers because They're not getting treated any differently. The top performers still aren't making the quota as it is, and I really just don't give a shit anymore. So here I am, right in the middle.
And you wonder why you got passed over for promotions.
Well, no, because I got passed over just the same from the top. That's the point I'm making.
Now do you
That's
think
the point
this,
I'm making.
this quota is actually real?
Yes, because we used to be able to hit it when we had a full staff.
But not now. It's less, right?
Far less.
Far less, and it's the same exact quota.
Correct.
Okay.
That's...
Now the way I look at that, say I got to hit 10,000, and I know that I'm understanding about the morale, the crew, the efficiency, the output. As you were saying, you know what I mean. The way I look at that, I'm just like, well, I'm going to tell these guys 80,000. They're going to work their asses off, and what they hit 10, they're probably going to hit 10. It's going to make them go. It's like a little strategy in the back of your heads.
Yeah, but then the employees
set
are just like
expectations. Sure, but if you implement some sort, I come from a different kind of world.
Yeah,
you're in the office.
Yeah,
you're in a classroom type of environment. I'm outside on the road with a bunch of hardbucking dudes.
Yeah,
we all yell at each other
with locker room talk.
Yeah, it's
lots of locker room
hey,
talk.
Go fuck yourself is translated. You get the weather today.
Yeah,
that's how it truly is.
Hey, fuck you. What was that? Oh, he just said nice
we're
weather.
Expected. The expectations of us are much different.
Yeah,
You don't do it, you get cussed out from a group of guys. You better have some tough skin and some big balls because you're expected to get back to work and do better.
Yeah.
So like the whole morale, like you were talking about, they don't respect your time, and I understand that. You're just like, oh, I'm here. I just worked so hard. Oh, I didn't even get a, keep on going there.
Yeah.
There, kid.
Give me a pat in the back.
Yeah, we don't get
Tell me I'm doing good.
We don't get that at all. In fact, we get hammered down to the point where we hit a breaking point to where it makes us stronger. Like when
it's
I
interesting.
first started laboring like that, I worked with a certain company down here in Rochester with many crews my age, a little bit older, and their political ranking, how you got graduated through the ranks, was pretty much how much downright, oh my God, evil shit talk could you go through. They'd be like, Billy Johnson, you got the looks, you got a car, you got money, you got a big house, your parents are this, and you still don't get laid? Wow, you're a faggot. You have to kill yourself.
Oh my God.
And I don't shy in any of those words.
Yeah.
I don't use the F word.
Yeah.
That's all that. But this is how they would talk to me. Man, and I would just get so worked up. I'm looking for, that's when I learned, like, if you want to hang yourself,
you got worked up even though you expressed yourself in your diary about it?
Did you read his diary again?
You guys didn't.
Yeah.
You guys didn't touch that, did you?
Don't. Stay away from his stuff.
Talked about this. Hey, we talked about this stuff on the air. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
But, okay, so, yeah,
Well, my original question was basically, okay, so it sounds like you got a pretty good deal over there, except for the fact that there's unrealistic quotas, and it hurts morale. When you feel like you can achieve certain numbers, you feel like, well, I'm not getting what I want out of this. My work isn't amounting to anything if I can't hit these quotas.
Yeah, and not only that, imagine you go to your computer and you're emailed work orders. Mm-hmm. And you have to open each work order, and you either have to call the client, you have to email the client, you have to chat with the client, and you need to assess it, figure it out, and then write the programming, whatever, right? So imagine you close one of your work orders. You're like, oh, yes. Right? Let's say you had 8 work orders, and you close it, and what do you know? What's 8 minus 1?
Yeah.
What's 8 minus 1?
7.
7. That's less, right? Is 7 less than 8?
Yeah.
Yes, it is, right? And you go, you check your email, you go, I have 14 more work orders now. I'm going to kill myself. I'm definitely going to kill myself.
Why don't you start the day off with lowering your expectations? Maybe you're doing this to yourself. Maybe everybody's doing this to themselves. If this happens on a daily basis,
it's possible.
Now change your perspective.
It's possible.
Attack it differently. Because if you have to get through the day,
you might be
constantly thinking like that. My God, I'll tie the rope for you.
Please, is there a good? Sometimes I walk around work and I look up.
So what'll hold my weight?
I look up, and they're like, and someone will come to me like, "What are you doing?" I swear to God, this actually happens. I'll be like, "Well, Rock, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm looking for a beam that'll support my weight." They're just like, they don't get it at first, and they're like, "Huh? Oh,
what about that steel one over there?" No, I bent that last week.
Well, I think it's important, Rock, for a man or a woman at their place of employment to feel like their work is actually doing something.
Yeah. Yes.
If their work is meaningless, and it sounds like you feel that way
at this point,
then that's the problem.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
instead of saying, well, the problem is whether I'm unionized or not, the problem is really figuring how do you make yourself feel like you're actually accomplishing something at work.
Agreed.
And I think that's the conversation that you first need to have with the people above you, is that like, hey, not only do I feel this way, but everybody kind of feels this way. And I don't know if you know that.
I've become kind of an unofficial voice of the team because of who I am.
Well, yeah, because you can't shut up.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and the people come to me.
Everybody, I am your
So
representative.
you are the union rep of your office that has no union.
Perfect. Oh my God, I just...
Well, fucking well,
look at the pride that just filled up with his little heart.
Yeah, well, you know what? I guess I am for the
yeah, I mean, that's kind of strange the way Al puts it here. That's actually a great point because people, like, they'll come to me and they'll be like, oh my God, did you say something? And then I find that my development time with my manager becomes me speaking as the voice of the rest of the floor.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a lot of grievances in your workplace.
Yeah.
And I'll
throw
come
a
to you
union
for whatever
term at
reason.
you.
Sure are.
And it seems like they come to me for them.
For whatever reason.
You know why? And I think it's because of what Dan said. I don't know how to shut the fuck up.
No, you don't.
I really don't.
Well, speaking on shutting the fuck up.
Can we get Al's thoughts on everything that was just said? He literally said nothing. And then we can go to break?
He said nothing.
Said nothing.
Wow.
How about
Rocco
you and I
doesn't even pay
literally
attention.
take items of our clothing off one by one, slowly. We put them down in the middle of the room.
All right,
and
time for me to go.
Greco-Roman wrestle this out.
Naked.
Yes.
Completely. Yes.
We have to spray you with baby oil.
Before we go to break, Al, is there anything you wanted to just shove down Rock's throat?
Careful.
I don't think after all that
Careful.
I don't think after all that he needs anything shoved down his throat. I think he just determined that he is going to be the first union leader within his workplace. But I will say that
As he should.
If workplaces truly want to prevent the unionization of their workforce, there's some real easy ways to accomplish that. And it starts with listening to your employees and treating them with respect, not creating a sense of fear by firing at will for no good reason, and make sure that the pay and benefits are competitive with your particular field, or slightly better than what your particular field tends to get.
So actually do things so people are like, fuck unions. We're treated so well here, kind of thing.
Yeah, the Wegmans argument that Wegmans is one of the few grocery store chains that is non-unionized, but they pay their employees slightly better than unionized grocery store workers, give them slightly better benefits, and
which is odd because the warehouse is unionized.
Yeah, the transportation side of it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is some wild and crazy stuff.
Some wild stuff.
So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back and what, Dan?
We're gonna finish up with our classic fuck yous.
Our fuck you section. We'll be right back. Critical Mass can now be found at the 8o'clockstop.com. That's the 8o'clockstop.com. We're there with the Hypothetically Speaking podcast as well as 3 Dicks Picks podcast. Check us out there. That's the 8o'clockstop.com because everything starts at 8 o'clock.
Welcome back to Critical Mass. Here we are with the talented RocnessMonster.
Ow!
Daniel Trax and our friend Al. Talking about unions here. I think
Al.
we're about to get to the fuck yous.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Al, do you got a fuck you? Want to start off? Or do you want to hear how it's done?
I think I better hear how it's done. I have something in
That's
mind.
a good
Yeah,
one.
I think Daniel should start it up.
Okay, I'll just start us off. My fuck you this week is it's something that just gets right to my core of hatred. Purple minivans, and normally they're Dodges. They don't have to be Dodges, but they're usually purple minivans.
Any shade of purple?
Any shade. Could be fuchsia even.
Or periwinkle?
Yes. Mauve. Dusty mauve.
You got me, man.
Anything purple-ish that's a minivan of the late 90s model that has a handicap sticker usually in the window. Here's the deal. The driver usually has diabetes. And You've all seen them. You know you've seen these minivans. They could be light blue. It doesn't matter. They're a late 90s Dodge Caravan typically with a handicap sticker in the window. And the driver is an absolute fucking moron.
Diabetic.
And a diabetic moron.
I just that's my little
DM.
shove on them is that like, yeah, you're probably diabetic too. Because, yes, usually it's a heavy-set woman. She looks poor. I mean, you know how I hate the poor. And
absolutely.
No, I just feel like, okay,
Disgusting
first of all, and sometimes you can even see that it's outfitted for like a wheelchair too, like these vans. Get off the road.
Yeah, you shouldn't be on the road.
I want to go 60 and a 35, and you're in my way.
Yeah, we have Uber now. Just get a fucking Uber.
You know?
Or a forklift.
I just see these minivans every now and then with their fucking moronic driver and their handicap sticker, and it's just like, God.
The DM.
You know, as soon as you're behind them, it's kind of like getting behind an elderly person at the grocery store in line.
Oh God!
Because they're going to be fishing through their purse.
Yep.
And it's just like, you know. Anyway, so fuck you to that specific person.
I like it. Who wants to go next? I can go. Bill.
Why don't you touch it?
I'll touch it. I'm gonna touch it. Okay.
Touch the nice.
So I've got a specific fuck you.
Okay.
Who was there last night? Oh yeah, just Dan. We were at a bar / bowling alley last night. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I'm gonna get to the fuck you of it, but it was one of the most pretentious places I've ever been into in my entire life. However, it was a lot of fun with some of the greatest people I know.
I wouldn't call it pretentious.
Oh, so pretentious. I'm sorry, a well gin and tonic is $8. Pretentious.
Where were you?
Was it at least good well gin?
Where we had our meeting.
Not really. Where we had. So
the place that we do not speak of.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So it's not so much that. That's not my fuck you. My fuck you is this, okay? I frequent a bar in our area. That's my favorite place that I go to all the time. You know it very well. You know it very well. You know it very well. Yeah. They have one bartender, maybe two. And that's a snapping sound. That's how quick they serve. That's how quick they serve. Not just because I'm a regular, because they know how to bartend. This place last night has 6 fucking people behind the bar. One of them's fucking on the fucking register, just pressing buttons, not doing shit. Another person's cleaning up stuff. We got 2 people that are serving. Doesn't matter. There are 2 people. I'm talking right. I'm in the middle of thought.
I know.
There are 2 people serving, okay? I'm just trying to cash out, or I'm trying to order a drink. And it's just like, what the fuck are these people doing? Fuck you to your bartending staff, all of them. Either hire more bartenders, or have the bartenders you currently have know what it is the fuck that they're doing. I'm standing here. You're not doing shit right now in the bar. Turn around, take my order. Give me my order. We exchange money. I believe that's how this works. And then I walk away. It's that simple.
Or get rid of them and find more competent bartenders.
And here's a logical.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here's a logical issue, because it's a bowling alley that's actually, it functions on time, not games. So you don't pay for how many games you want to play.
Yeah, you're
paying on a timer.
Sure.
So you pay for you buy out like 2 hours of your lane, and it's on the top of the clock. It's tick tick tick. So if you're at the bar and it's your fucking turn, you're freaking out.
Yes.
'Cause you're like, I gotta get back because I'm literally losing my money as I talk.
Correct.
So that's one of the issues.
To that. They're not sensitive to that at all. And they should be. They own the place. I don't. So they should be sensitive to that. So fuck you to these bartenders. And it took me nearly 20 minutes to close my tab yesterday. And the girl finally goes over and says, "Thank you for your patience." And I said, I guess you guys want a tip. I don't understand for what, but okay. And I took the receipt and I left $2 on my $40 tab. And that's it. You want a tip? Fucking, I got a tip. Serve faster. I got a tip. Put a drink in my fucking hand.
It's a Saturday night at literally the most popular place in town right now.
And?
Which is surprising.
Which means that they knew that it was going to be busy. Mm-hmm. They knew how many, because they have to reserve essentially a certain amount of lanes.
Yeah.
It's not hard. You get more people in.
Exactly.
But they are fresh, too. This is a new business.
It's a fresh place. Less than a year. It's less than a year.
Yeah, but
less
still.
Less than a year.
It's not like this person who's running it has never run something before.
Listen, I like the place. Is it pretentious? Yes. Is it hipster? Absolutely. So
100%.
hipster.
Jesus.
But I do like the place. I had fun. I did have a fun time last night. It's just
Imagine
drinks.
it. Just imagine it with like 1/3 of the amount of people.
It'd be great.
Imagine that place with a union.
Oh. Whoa. Hello.
Okay.
All right. That was my fuck you. Who's next?
Yeah.
Well, my fuck you, and you made me think about this way earlier when we were talking about employee discipline situations. Fuck you, all social media.
All of it.
All social media. There is absolutely nothing good societally that has come out of social media.
Except for advertising CriticalMass. Please continue.
Go ahead. You needed that plug. Half or better of the disciplinary situations where I've actually had somebody walked out, it was because of something stupid they put on social media. We hear now that during the campaign a year ago, and a year plus, the Russians were buying up ads on both sides and sowing dissent between the two parties.
Yeah.
And frankly, our president is getting ready to start a war with North Korea over Twitter. So,
I'm going to use it again. He's a sorry.
So
stop using that word.
No.
Evolve.
Honestly, don't believe that anything good has ever come out of social media, and it's something I think should be undone.
Okay.
So did you want to say? I mean, you didn't say the words.
I thought I said it at the beginning.
Oh, you did?
Fuck you, social media.
There it is.
He
Yeah.
totally
Okay.
did.
Okay.
I've never heard Al.
He said it twice.
Been so derogatory before.
I know, right?
Serious about that. And I know that our friend Mr. Trot out there in Denver, he would totally agree on that because he's always said communication technology has become the end of our
Civilization.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just made us more,
So,
Dumb.
Billster,
Bill,
you got one?
you're fuck you.
Now, I'm a big nerd. I love tech,
I don't believe it.
man. I remember when I went from the iBrick. I started with the iBrick, the first iPhone. The iBrick. That thing was thick and heavy.
Right.
I remember.
And then I remember
It was a piece of masonry.
come up to one guy and he's just like, "Wow, I'm surprised you don't have an Android."
Why does Bill have a brick to his face?
I'm like, why the hell would I have an Android? I have an iPhone. It's like, dude, you know that you can have Linux on there and do this. All it's open source. I'm like, what? There's nerd stuff with the Android? And they're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Swapped over. All right. So my point being with all that, I am constantly using bandwidth, constantly using data. I want to say, fuck you to data plans.
Okay.
Because I just jumped on this one, right? And I've got like 2 weeks left. I'm running my maximum. Now they drive me down to 128 kbs. Are you kidding me? I can't even stream. I can't stream shit.
Jesus.
Pornhub is so slow. Like everything's so slow. Like while I'm driving and I want to watch Pornhub,
Right.
like on the way over here. That's why I'm like half chub right now. 'Cause I didn't
Specifically
finish.
at stoplights.
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Dude, specifically. I mean, I tried just sitting in your driveway I was actually outside this whole entire time.
Wow.
I wasn't at Starbucks. 20 minutes. I'm trying to get this video to buffer.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Trying
it's
to
like
get a
at
nut.
the peak.
Yeah.
And it was just like this interracial gangbang orgy. This small white babe. I forgot the title of it. It's like mom walks in, his son is something crazy like that.
Right. His son is mentally handicapped.
So fuck you, data plans. I'm not about it. So I just download everything on Wi-Fi. That's what I'm gonna do next time. I'm gonna download everything on Wi-Fi on the way over here. Beat it up nice with the yup.
I like it.
Yeah,
so
do it nice.
you're learning and you're growing.
Hey, see, and that's what we do.
And speaking of learning and growing, before we kick it, I just wanted to mention to all of our 10 listeners, Rockness
Yes.
thinks that he's funny.
Yeah.
And he definitely makes jokes here and there. And to make him feel better, we laugh here in the studio.
Yeah.
But he also is trying it out professionally
Yes.
at open mics.
And we support him 100%.
All over the Rochester
Yeah,
area.
we have
He walks in and you see
Thank
you. You see that little mound in his pants and you just know this is the guy.
Dude.
And so
Bulge.
he at a particular comedy place, am I allowed to say it?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I mean,
touch
I
it,
guess
I
it's
guess.
unsolicited stuff here, but comedy at the Carlson, Sunday nights at 7:30.
Great place.
They
Great
have
place.
open mics, and he's been going up a few times now. And I just want to say, if you're listening and you think that Rockness is funny, which might be 1% of you,
What do you think if he's not?
yeah,
Yeah.
check him out at these open mics.
Boom
Maybe-
or support him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look for them to be opening for a major headliner soon.
I mean, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
And thank you for that.
10, 20, 30 years, however long it'll take.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, I'll be like Rodney Dangerfield where I get like my career starts at like 50, 60 years old.
Yeah, the funniest thing you will ever say will be on your deathbed.
Exactly. Like, come on, I should have said that
It's
joke.
like, oh, we didn't have a recorder.
I should have said that. But yeah, check out Comedy at the Carlson, open mic night. Show starts at 8. Drink specials, good place, fun place, clean. It's a clean place. See how long that lasts because it's fairly new. Check them out. I definitely want to give them some love.
The bartenders too. One's married.
Yeah, they
Unfortunately,
they do actually have a good
Interesting
bartending
how you
staff.
found that out.
Other plugs. Ale, before we cut ourselves off here, do you have any plugs? Anything you think that the world
leave us with?
should know about? Do you want to like leave us? Do you have like a Jerry's final thought, like an Ale's final thought, something? I don't know.
You know what? You didn't give me time to prepare for this one, so
I don't believe it. You're not prepared for a closing statement. He's
I
got 20 manila folders, a briefcase. There's a secretary standing outside.
okay, but I am paying her, so it's okay.
Yeah, she's union.
I think the biggest thing I would say is that not everyone needs to be in a union, but whoever you are and whatever you do, you need to thank a union.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. That's a good close. Thank you, Ale, for being here today.
My
you very
pleasure.
much,
Thanks
Al.
for having me.
We appreciate it. And
Could his last name be Butkiss?
Ale Budkiss.
Yeah, just like Stanley Butkiss from The Mask. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
I have no idea either, but
Or
it's okay.
Butkiss.
I love it.
Butkiss. I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Remember Butkiss?
That's a different vocab.
So okay, I want to thank our sponsors over at let's see, we got the Genesee Beard Company. We've got Eagle Epoxy.
Well, Genesee Beer is not technically a sponsor.
Yeah, but we hope for their success.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
check out their products, Genesee Beard Company.
Yeah.
Also check. That was a fart. That got right on the mic too. Check out eagleepoxy.com for your epoxy needs.
Yeah.
And of course, last but certainly nowhere near least, 8o'clockstop.com, where we're featured along with our buddies over at Hypothetically Speaking podcast, as well as the podcast 3 Dicks Picks. Funny as fuck, those guys. They're hilarious. Check them out if you like a laugh. After you check us out, of course.
Right.
And really, that's about it. Thanks a lot. We're looking forward to season 3.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Totally.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
We love you.
They come from butts.